In this section of Module 1, you will view and hear explained the essential documents you will be using to identify your priority standards. As you are participating, please keep in mind the characteristics that were explained in the previous video. One additional note is that if you are a bilingual or dual language teacher, you will note that the TEKS resource system does provide specific documents addressing the SLARs. These documents are provided in English and Spanish. While the majority of the standards for reading are the same in English and Spanish, there are some standards that are unique to the Spanish language only, and these are found in Strand 1, Developing and Sustaining Foundational Language Skills. It is essential that as a bilingual or dual language teacher, you are familiar with these standards and that you teach those standards. This helps to support our students being truly bilingual and biliterate. Additionally, you will be receiving from Teaching and Learning and World Languages companion documents that will provide supporting materials for you in planning, and we'll talk about that more in just a moment. Let's take a scroll through the documents that you'll be using. Some of these will be brand new, and some of them will be very familiar to you. The three frameworks that we're going to look at are Lead Forward, Curriculum Central, and the TEKS resource system. Lead Forward is a group of independent consultants who serve over 800 campuses, and they provide great information on data and resources, and we're going to look at one of those in just a moment. We'll also be looking at Curriculum Central, which has served as our AISD platform for curriculum and resources. And we will be transitioning to the TEKS resource system as our primary platform for curriculum. If you have not had a chance to attend the training, I encourage you to speak with your principal, your dean, a coach, and find out about those trainings because it will be very, very beneficial to you. The other document that you might want to have in front of you as we go through this is the thought catcher that is linked for you on slide 9. There's a way to download this so that you could have it in front of you as we are discussing. So the purpose of this is to look at the standards that you have been assigned and how do we decide what is a priority standard? Is it only because it's tested on the STAR? Is it because it's a standard I really like to teach? Or is it just my personal opinion that every student should know how to do this? I think we have a varying mix of those opinions at times, but essentially there should be a system where we're analyzing that together and in fairness to all of our students to be sure that we're being equitable in our instruction, making sure that all students are getting what they need. So if, for example, let's look at the standard 6.2b, using context to clarify the meaning of words. And you'll notice that the middle of this standard has the strike through, because at this particular time of the year in Unit 1, you're only going to be looking at this part of the standard. The next time that you see it, there may be more revealed. So it's important to look closely at this. This isn't a typo. That was there purposely to give you direction on how to break down this standard. Also, please note that this is one of those standards where there's a difference for English and Spanish. So if you were a bilingual teacher, you want to look at SLAR 6.3a. That will match our 6.2b. So the first category that I want to think about is an endurance. Does this TEK promote value beyond a single test? Is this a life skill that every kid needs to have? Well, I can have a long discussion and debate about that, but one document that will help me know about that is the Texas College and Career Readiness Standards. And if that's not a document that you're familiar with, don't worry, you don't have to go and look it up. The state has already embedded that for us through TRS in the vertical alignment document. I went ahead and I found the TEK for us. Through the vertical alignment, you see I have 4th grade, 5th grade, and 6th grade. Here's our TEK using context to clarify the meaning of words. And we're not going to think about the definitions, analogies, and examples right now. We're just going to focus on the context for this one. So thinking about that, using context to clarify word meaning, is that something that kids need to know? Is that a life skill? I can look at all of the specificity that's provided for us, but if I scroll to the bottom of that section, here I can find the Texas College and Career Readiness Standard for reading. Apply a variety of strategies to determine the meaning of unfamiliar words and phrases. Identify new words and concepts acquired through study of their relationships to other words and concepts. So because it's included in the college and career readiness, that lets me know that this is a very valuable TEK, that students are going to be using this skill all the way through high school and college and into the workforce. So yes, I can mark on my form that this is definitely an endurance TEK. So our next column is about leverage. How many times has this TEK been tested? How would mastering this TEK give my kids or my students leverage and standardized exams? That's where we go see our old friend at Lead Forward. And this chart that you're very familiar with, the frequency distribution chart, that lets us know what the new TEK is, what the old TEK was, and how many times between 2012 and 2019 was this TEK included on the STAR exam. And if we look, we can see that for a total of 24 times, kids were tested on this. So it makes it a fairly important TEK for us to consider. So taking that information, I would say that yes, this is a leverage TEK for our student. Next, prerequisite knowledge. Is this an essential skill for the next grade level? Again, going back to our friends at TRS, our vertical alignment document, and to show you, this is the ELAR version, and you can download this document, and when you download it, it allows you to choose what grade level do you want in the middle. So for this one, I chose 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. But I could have chosen, as I did with the other one, to have 5th, 6th, and 7th if I want to see what it is that my students are going to need for 7th grade. So I'm going to hope it doesn't make you dizzy. I'm going to scroll down to where I know the TEK is. One more page, I think. Almost there. Using context such as definition to clarify the meaning of words. So I can see that this has also been taught again, 4th grade, 5th grade. We can track it back all the way to 2nd grade. And I know that this is a skill, whether kids are reading in math, science, social studies, art, music, PE. They're going to need this to be able to use this skill. And the really cool thing about this document is that if I click on the blue number, it allows me to expand it, and it gives me all of this detail, great specificity about how I can use this, how this TEK can be taught, even assessed. So this is great planning information provided in the vertical alignment document that gives you some ideas on how you might introduce this skill and how that it can be spiraled through all of the content areas. And then again, as I scroll to the bottom, here are my notes. And again, the Texas College and Career Readiness Standard that matches this one. So I know then that this is something that is important for my students to know for this grade level, and also important for me to realize that I have to chunk this, so it probably means I'm going to see it much more than once. So the final column here is convergence. Does this impact multiple contents or standards? And again, we've briefly touched on that. But if I go to the IFD, the Instructional Focus Document, and in Unit 1, Building Foundational Reading and Writing Skills, if I scroll to this wonderful information that's provided, it says that this unit isn't intended to be taught through the lens of a specific genre, which we're used to thinking about. Is it poetry, fiction, nonfiction? For this, the unit emphasis is on reading, writing, and discussion skills that are applicable to any genre. It lays the foundation for literary practices to be employed. So yes, I would say that this is across curriculum areas. And again, this document provides essential questions, provides concepts that I'm going to focus on, comprehension and response. And then this final column, again, it's giving me assessment. There are performance assessments provided that with each bundle, so that you can have, as you begin this, knowing what in the end, how am I going to test this? What is it? What are the specifics that students should be able to know and show with this document? So with this TEK. So yes, it is convergent. And then the final one, is it included in this current unit of study? And as I look at the year at a glance, I can see here in the YAG that there it is. And it's also here in the second, Units 1 and Unit 2 in my first 6 weeks. I can click on the SLAR one, but I want to let you know that this document hasn't been updated. This is from the 1920 school year, so it's only showing one unit. In the new curriculum for this year, they have 2 units. So yes, it will continue to be taught. So knowing how to find the meaning of these documents, knowing how to find these documents, knowing that students need to be able to find the meaning of unfamiliar words is a lifelong skill, to me, makes this a priority standard. So as you review the slides and take time to click back and look at the documents, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. If you have difficulty with the links or accessing the TRS, please reach out so that I can support you in this. It's very important that you have access to all of those documents. And notice again that on is the information that we talked about for you to review. And then on slide 9, if you click on this little red computer, it will allow you to download a PDF of this document to complete on your own.